I stood alone in the funeral home. The smell of lilies was so thick, it tried to choke the grief out of the air. Spoiler, it failed. The cold wasn't just in the room, it was in the way everyone's eyes dodged mine, like I was a ghost crashing my own mother's goodbye party. A camera buzzed somewhere, that annoying Vovo sound cutting through the silence. Probably Uncle Dave, thinking he's Spielberg, filming this mess for the family archives. What family, though? I stood by Mom's coffin, close enough to feel the polished wood under my fingers, but I might as well have been on Mars. No one noticed me. No one asked, "You okay?" They were all lost in their own little worlds, or faking it like pros. Dad was off to the side, gripping the hand of some stranger I'd never laid eyes on. She was decked out in black, playing the part, while he whispered something to her. Her head bobbed like she cared. Me? Standing here by Mom, and he didn't even toss me a glance. Mom's gone, I thought, the words sour and heavy. But I'm the spare part no one knows what to do with. My fists balled up, holding back the yell clawing at my throat. Why am I the only one feeling this? Mom's dead, and it's like I just woke up to a family of strangers. I turned to bolt, but a cold flash from Dad's phone stopped me dead. I peeked at the screen and, bam! There was Mom, grinning, alive, with that stranger, arms around each other on some trip I'd never heard of. My gut twisted. It wasn't just me they'd ditched. Mom had been stabbed in the back too, and I'd been clueless. The air turned to lead, pressing down hard. I was surrounded by family, but I'd never been this alone. The camera hummed, feet shuffled, and the silence screamed louder than anything. No warmth, no tears, just a big, fat nothing. And right then, it hit me. This family hasn't been mine for a long damn time. I sat on the edge of my childhood bed. The springs creaked like they remembered every sleepless night I'd spent here. The room smelled like dust and old perfume. Mom's perfume, the kind she'd spritz before tucking me in. Now it just hung in the air, a ghost of better days. I stared at the peeling wallpaper, trying to ignore the muffled voices downstairs. The funeral was over, but the real show was just starting. My family, picking over Mom's stuff like vultures in black suits. I'm the only daughter in this mess of a family, and I've always been the ODD one out. The leftover piece that doesn't fit the puzzle. Mom was the only one who ever saw me, who got me. She'd sit on this bed, smoothing my hair, whispering, "You're my special girl," like it was our little secret. But now she's gone, and I'm stuck with the rest of them, people who've never bothered to look past their own noses. Take Dad. He's always been a walking briefcase, more married to his job than to Mom. I can count on one hand the times he's hugged me without checking his watch first. The one time he stared at me longer than a blink was when I spilled coffee on his important papers. "Those are worth more than you'll ever be," he'd snapped, his face redder than the tie he wore to impress his boss. I was 12. Guess I learned early where I stood. Then there's my sister, Lisa. Perfect Lisa, with her perfect hair and perfect life. She's the golden child, the one who got all the love and none of the scars. I remember being in the hospital after breaking my arm. Fell off my bike, no big deal. Lisa brought me a cup of water, set it down, and walked out like she'd done her duty. No, "How you feeling?" or "Need anything?" Just water and gone. That's Lisa in a nutshell. Minimum effort, maximum praise. And my brother Tom. He's Dad 2.0, workaholic, emotionally constipated. He's probably downstairs right now, arguing with Lisa over who gets Mom's jewelry. They've always been the favorites, the ones who got the attention, the pats on the back, the "we're so proud of you" speeches. Me? I got leftovers. Leftover love, leftover time, leftover everything. Mom was different. She saw the cracks, the way I'd shrink into myself when Dad barked or Lisa preened. She'd pull me aside, wrap me in her arms, and say, "You're stronger than you know, kiddo." She was my shield, my soft place to land. But she's gone now, and I'm standing in the rubble, trying to figure out how to breathe without her. I glanced at the door, half expecting her to walk in, but it stayed shut. The voices downstairs got louder. Lisa's shrill laugh, Tom's gruff replies. They were probably fighting over Mom's china set, like it mattered. I snorted. "Guess I'm the black sheep," I muttered, "but at least I'm not the one scrapping over dishes." In the quiet, I spotted a small note tucked under my pillow. Mom's handwriting, neat and loopy. "You're my heart. Always." My throat tightened. She left it there, knowing I'd need it, knowing I'd be alone in this house of strangers. I folded the note, slipped it into my pocket, and took a shaky breath. Mom was gone, but she'd given me one last gift, the reminder that I wasn't invisible, not to her, and maybe, just maybe, that was enough to keep going. Ever felt like the world's moving on without you? Yeah, me too. I stood in the middle of that suffocating room, the little box from Mom clutched tight in my hands. The funeral dragged on around me. Sniffles, hushed whispers, the faint clink of coffee cups from the back. Everyone was playing their part, dabbing eyes with tissues they didn't need, but the air was ice cold with indifference. I'd had enough. This wasn't just about being ignored anymore. It was about the truth. All eyes snapped to me as I cracked open the box. No going back now. Inside were Mom's letters, small folded squares of dynamite, each one labeled with a name in her shaky handwriting. Not sweet nothings, oh no. These were her secrets, her quiet rage, penned down and left for me to detonate. "Mom never said it out loud," I began, my voice wobbling like a tightrope walker's first step. "But she knew. She knew you didn't love her like she loved you. She knew you left her to rot alone, but she didn't want me to pay for it. Well, guess what? I'm done swallowing your silence." I fished out Dad's letter first. His stony face twitched as I unfolded it. "She wrote about how you never put us first," I read, her words slicing through the room. "How you traded her for your precious career, even though she poured her soul into this family." I flicked my eyes up. He wouldn't meet mine. Just stared at the carpet like it might swallow him whole. Then my siblings. Lisa's letter came next. "She was disappointed," I said, my voice finding its footing, "that you were never there when she needed you. Too busy with your perfect life to notice she was drowning." Lisa's mascara-streaked face froze, her mouth a silent O. Tom's turn. "And you," I said, pulling his out. "She said you only showed up to judge her when it was too late." His fists balled up, but he didn't dare look at me. And then, God help me, mine. I held it up, my hands shaking again. "She hid something from me," I said, quieter now, like I was talking to myself. "That I'm not Dad's kid. She didn't want me crushed under the weight of his betrayal." The room stopped breathing. Dad's head jerked up, pale as a corpse. Lisa choked out a gasp. Tom's jaw dropped like a cartoon character's. For a moment, I let it hang there. The silence, thick as fog, wrapping around us all. A weird calm washed over me, like I'd just kicked off shoes that never fit right. Then I straightened up, voice sharp again. "I've been stumbling around in the dark my whole life, but not anymore. You don't get to keep acting like we're some happy little family, not after this." Nobody said a thing. They couldn't. Dad's shoulders slumped. Lisa's hands trembled, and Tom just gaped like a fish on a hook. I'd torn the pretty lie they'd all been living right down the middle. And you know what? It felt good, terrifying, messy, but good. Ever try rewriting your whole life in one breath? Turns out, it's a hell of a rush. I stormed out of that suffocating funeral home. The letters in my hand felt like a grenade with the pin already pulled. My chest was tight. My head was buzzing, anger, hurt, all of it crashing together. I wasn't letting this go, not after what I'd found out. First stop, Dad. He was loitering by his car, that random woman lingering nearby like some awkward shadow. I marched up and he looked at me, half guilty, half irritated, like I was a bill he forgot to pay. Dad, I said, voice cutting through the air. You always said I was like you. But now I'm wondering if that's even true. His mouth twitched. He parted his lips like he had something to say, but nothing came out. Then he just turned away, staring at the pavement. Typical. You didn't protect Mom, I said, each word a punch. You ditched us for your stupid job, for her... I flung a hand toward the woman, who shrank back like I'd bitten her. And now you're just standing there with her at Mom's funeral? You think I'm still gonna call you Dad after this? He stayed quiet, shoulders slumping like a deflated balloon. No fight, no excuses, just nothing. I was done. Next up, my siblings. I found them by the food table, nibbling on crackers like we weren't all drowning in this mess. I didn't waste time. Hey, I barked, loud enough to make them flinch. Ever wonder why Mom hid everything she felt? Why she never told you how much it hurt? Lisa stared, eyes wide. Tom just frowned, like I'd interrupted his big cracker moment. She told me, I said, voice breaking but steady. She was scared you'd stop caring about me someday. And you know what? She was right. You only show up when it's too damn late. Lisa mumbled, That's not fair. Fair? I snorted, the sound sharp and ugly. You think Fair lives here? You're all cozy in your little shells, and I'm sick of pretending I fit. I'm done playing the good kid in this train wreck of a family. Tom opened his mouth, but I didn't let him start. Save it, I snapped. I'm out. I walked away, the letters still in my grip, lighter now, like I'd finally let something go. It hurt, sure, but it was mine. My truth, my mess. And for once, I wasn't hiding it. So what about you? Ever had to call it quits on someone you loved? I stumbled out of that funeral like I'd just run a marathon through hell. My legs were jelly. My head was spinning, anger, hurt, and a weird kind of freedom all tangled up inside me. I needed air, space, anything but the suffocating weight of that room. So I went to the park, the one where Mom used to push me on the swings, back when life was simpler and family didn't feel like a four-letter word. The air was crisp, carrying the scent of wet grass and distant laughter. Kids shrieked on the playground, their joy a stark contrast to the storm in my chest. I found a bench under an old oak tree, its leaves rustling like they were gossiping about me. I flopped down, staring at the sky, trying to untangle the mess of feelings. Long time no see, a voice said, cutting through my fog. I turned to see Jamie, my old neighbor, now sporting a few more wrinkles but the same kind eyes that used to sneak me cookies when Mom wasn't looking. We swapped the usual small talk, but the weight of the day hung between us like a thick cloud. I heard about your mom, he said softly, sitting beside me. And the funeral sounded intense. I nodded, words stuck in my throat like glue. It was. I found out things. About my family. About myself. He leaned back, giving me space to spill. So I did. The letters, the secrets, the blowout. It all came pouring out. When I finished, he let out a low whistle. That's a hell of a load to carry. Ever think about what you'd do if you were in their shoes? Or if someone kept a secret to protect you? His question hit me like a brick. If someone you love hid a secret to shield you, would you forgive or turn away? I stared at the ground, tracing patterns in the dirt with my shoe. Mom's face flashed in my mind. Her tired smile, her quiet strength. She'd lied to protect me, but it still stung like hell. We sat in silence, the park's calm wrapping around us. Then Jamie broke it. And now? With your family? You think you'll keep quiet or keep fighting? I glanced at the horizon, the sun dipping low, painting the sky in shades of fire. When family stops being home, do you stay silent or stand your ground? The question echoed, not just for me, but for anyone who's ever felt lost in their own story. I didn't have an answer, not yet. But something shifted inside me, a flicker of resolve beneath the anger and hurt. I wasn't sure if I could forgive, but I knew I couldn't keep living in the shadow of their lies. The park seemed to hold its breath, waiting for me to decide, but I wasn't ready, not today. I stood, brushing off the bench's dust. Thanks for listening, Jamie. I think I need to figure this out solo. He nodded, a small smile tugging at his lips. You always were the brave one. I walked away, the questions still buzzing in my head, mingling with the distant laughter of kids who didn't know how heavy the world could get. Maybe that was the point. Life keeps moving, even when you're stuck, and somehow I'd have to move with it. Ever had to choose between holding on or letting go? Yeah, me too. I was back in Mom's room, the one place I'd been dodging since the funeral. The air smelled like old lavender and regret, and the silence was so loud it buzzed in my ears. Her stuff was everywhere. Dresses folded too neat, a half-used candle, a box of letters I'd been too chicken to touch. Until now. My hands shook as I pulled the box onto my lap, dust kicking up like it was mad I'd disturbed it. I started flipping through the envelopes, most yellowed and crinkly, when one stopped me cold. My name, in Mom's loopy handwriting, staring up at me like it had been waiting. I tore it open, half expecting a sappy goodbye note. What I got instead hit me like a freight train. My dearest, she wrote, there's something I never told you, something I kept buried because I thought it'd keep you safe. You're not your father's daughter. I hid it to shield you from his betrayal, from the truth that you might never be loved here the way you deserve. But you're mine, my only real love. I blinked at the page, then read it again, as if maybe the words would shuffle into something less insane. Not his daughter? My brain short-circuited. I flashed back to that random day years ago when Mom grabbed my face, looked me dead in the eyes, and said, "You're my special gift, and no one can understand that." I'd laughed it off then, figured she was just being weird. Now? Now it was a neon sign flashing the truth I'd missed. I flopped back on the bed, the letter crinkling under me. My chest felt tight, like someone had punched me and hugged me at the same time. Part of me wanted to storm downstairs, call Dad out, demand why he'd played along all these years. But then this other part, this quiet, sneaky part, started whispering, "You're free." And damn if that didn't feel good. All those years of feeling like I didn't fit, like I was the ODD piece in their perfect little puzzle. It wasn't me, it was them. A few days later, my phone lit up. Dad. His voice crackled through the voicemail, shaky and small, like he knew I'd already checked out. "Hey kiddo, we need to talk." I didn't call back. What was there to say? "Thanks for the fake family vibes. Nah. The siblings went radio silent too. No more pity texts or guilt trips. Guess they'd finally figured out I wasn't playing their game anymore. Then, digging through the box one last time, I found it. A little scrap of paper, Mom's writing again. "You'll always find happiness wherever you are." I laughed, a real one, sharp and messy. She'd known I'd need this, like a parachute for when the plane went down. I'm not forgiving them. Don't get it twisted. There's no Hallmark moment coming, but I'm done carrying their baggage. I'm walking away lighter than I've ever been, ready to figure out who I am without their lies pinning me down. Happiness? Yeah, I'll find it. Somewhere out there, on my terms. So, what about you? Ever had a truth drop that broke everything but somehow fixed you too?